Saluton from BA. This is a Rorschach Multilateral update from the 20th of May 2025, a summary of what's going down in the world's major multilateral institutions. To kick things off this week, on Tuesday the 13th, UNICEF reported that kids took a serious hit from the pandemic. Comparing numbers from 2018 to 2022, the study showed that school performance, mental well-being, and physical health all dropped off. Long school closures led to big gaps in learning. Some kids fell nearly a year behind in reading and math. Teens from less privileged backgrounds were hit hardest, with millions now struggling to read or do basic math. Life satisfaction also dropped in nearly half the countries studied, and more children are now dealing with weight issues than before COVID hit. Some previous research showed that kids had suffered during the pandemic, and even more is being done now by different organizations and governments. In other news related to children, on Thursday the 15th, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development urged countries around the world to take a bold approach to safeguarding kids online. It highlighted that while the internet offers great opportunities, it also exposes children to various risks. To reduce the potential damage that too much internet access can cause, the organization is promoting digital literacy, ensuring age-appropriate content, and involving educators and parents in guiding children's online experiences. The goal is to create a digital environment where children can thrive without compromising their safety or well-being. On Friday the 16th, Italy and Germany urged NATO members to step up their defense spending. At a recent meeting in Rome, the country's defense ministers emphasized the need for all allies to reduce capability gaps. Germany has already increased its defense budget to about 2% of GDP in 2024, up from about 1% in 2014, while Italy has reached the 2% threshold. Both countries admitted that they had not invested much in the alliance in the past. Meanwhile, on Wednesday the 14th, the World Health Organization reported that it is facing significant operational challenges following the U.S. decision to withdraw and halt funding, which previously accounted for about 18% of its budget. This move has led to a projected $600 million shortfall this year and a 20% budget reduction over the next 2 years. The organization is also closing some offices in high-income countries and seeking increased collaboration with other global health bodies to mitigate the impact of these financial constraints. Unfortunately, the World Health Organization is one of many organizations that have been hurt by the U.S. withdrawal of funding in recent months. In more news on health, on Monday the 19th, the Pan American Health Organization announced the beginning of the 78th World Health Assembly. The assembly, which is run by global health officials and will conclude on Tuesday the 27th, aims to finalize a new agreement to improve how countries prepare for and respond to pandemics. Other topics on the agenda include tackling diseases like cervical cancer, improving mental health care, and addressing environmental health issues. On Monday the 19th, the UK and EU reached an agreement ahead of a major summit in London, aiming to reset their relationship 5 years after Brexit. Key elements include a 12-year extension for EU fishing access to UK waters and an indefinite easing of checks on food and agricultural exports, facilitating smoother trade. After Brexit, the relationship between the two has been contentious, particularly over issues like immigration and international regulatory standards. Despite cooperation in areas like security and research, relations remain strained as both sides navigate their separate paths. On another note, on Thursday the 15th, the Court of the Economic Community of West African States ordered Nigeria to immediately release Moses Abiodun, a businessman held in prison since 2008 without formal charges. Despite never being tried or convicted, he remained in custody for 16 years. He was first arrested by Nigeria's Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which no longer exists. The court ruled this as a serious breach of his rights, describing it as anticipatory punishment and degrading treatment. Abiodun was originally accused of armed robbery and conspiracy. Nigeria has been struggling with maintaining fair law enforcement practices, which is a large issue in less wealthy areas and for perceived political enemies of the government in charge. Police officers sometimes don't face consequences for violating the rights of people. There is not enough legal aid for people accused of breaking the law, and prisons are often overcrowded. On Thursday the 15th, the Associated Press reported the extent of the damage that President Trump's sanctions are having on the International Criminal Court. The court has been struggling to function, the lead prosecutor lost access to his email and bank accounts, and American staff of the court have been warned they could be arrested if they enter the US. Some NGOs have stopped working with the court entirely. The US's pressure on the court is particularly strong because, through sanctions, any US organization, such as banks and tech companies, can be stopped or restricted from working with the court. In Asia, on Friday the 16th, the Astana Times reported that Kazakhstan and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe are teaming up to tackle economic and environmental challenges. Leaders announced that they are focusing on boosting trade routes, especially the Trans-Caspian corridor, aiming to double cargo capacity by 2027. Like other Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan is trying to increase its trade cooperation with European governments, which has picked up the pace since Russia invaded Ukraine more than 3 years ago. Since Russia is not a good choice for trade for Europe anymore, other countries like Kazakhstan want to come in. On the environmental front, they are planning for a 2026 climate summit in the country's capital, Astana, where they will address issues like water conservation and disaster preparedness. On Tuesday the 13th, the International Organization for Migration and the Naif Arab University for Security Sciences announced they have joined forces to improve how countries in the Middle East and North Africa handle migration and border control. This partnership focuses on training, research, and sharing best practices to help governments manage migration more effectively and humanely. The International Organization for Migration often provides this kind of assistance to countries and national organizations, fostering collaboration on border management, migrant protection, and voluntary return and reintegration programs. The organization also collects migration data and promotes international cooperation to ensure safe, orderly, and humane migration. In unrelated news, on Sunday the 18th, economic ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, met and emphasized the importance of fair and open trade while navigating ongoing tariff discussions with the US. The ministers also highlighted the need for regional unity and timely responses to global economic changes to maintain ASEAN's significant role on the world stage. On Friday the 16th, the World Customs Organization announced it was stepping up its support for customs administrations in the Pacific Islands by focusing on key areas like risk management and customs valuation. Through tailored training sessions and technical assistance, the organization is trying to help these countries modernize their customs operations, ensuring smoother trade processes and better compliance with international standards. This initiative is part of a broader effort to strengthen the capabilities of customs officials, making it easier for them to manage trade flows effectively and support an increase in per capita money supply in the region. For our final story this week, on Monday the 19th, the UN Development Programme, in collaboration with the Philippines, started a working group focused on flexible plastic recycling. This group aims to address the country's significant use of flexible plastic packaging, such as sachets, which contributes to substantial plastic waste. The initiative brings together stakeholders from various sectors to explore innovative recycling technologies and infrastructure, including food-grade plastic recycling. By fostering cross-sector collaboration, the working group seeks to promote a circular economy for flexible plastics in the Philippines. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Did you know that we do lots of other updates? We've got country updates and non-country updates, including the Arctic update and the ocean update. Check the full list with the link in the show notes. See you next week.